Meeting is called to order. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman.
Can we begin with by welcoming you to the Happy New Year and the Pedal and Paddle Committee.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would like to interject before you start your, before we get into the agenda. We're going to dispense with introductions because doing that on Zoom is like herding cats. And so what I'm asking all the participants to do, if you can, if you have the ability to, you should be able to rename yourself.
Microphone was over there.
And please rename yourself with the community or the entity you're with. Okay, so if you can just go through your name and just you have your name and then just a comma and the entity you're with would be very helpful. So with that said, George, it's all yours.
Quickly, I know.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but I've got my name there. I'm from Union Township, and
we know where you're from.
County.
You go without saying, George, but if some people, so some people are doing it, so thank you.
Somebody have a list of those people who are on the call? And
I have the list. Yeah.
Okay, would you like to call them off to introduce?
Well, I'd rather not. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to dispense with introductions.
Go along with whatever you want, Mitch.
I think everyone might have the ability to see who's, if they can't, then
how do you do that? Can you describe it?
Well, people are going to pop on and off.
Oh, I see. It says rename.
Yeah, you go rename. Yeah, there's 3 buttons to the upper right of your picture. If you hit the 3 buttons, there's a rename, and then you just your name and then where you're from would be helpful for purposes of staff.
GH, good housekeeping.
Select the microphone icon. It will prompt.
Okay. All right, sir, when you're ready to commence, please do.
Okay, let's, has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from the past meeting, November 5th? They are now on the screen. I'll give a few seconds for people to take a glance at them. And
Mr. Chairman, it's Dean Button. I reviewed the minutes before the meeting, and I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
do we have a second? I'll second it then. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. The minutes are approved.
Very good.
Next agenda item is,
Let me
back to my page.
yeah, my screen is playing games. Okay, there it is.
Okay, final review of application submitted under current notice for funding availability, the NOFA.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to take care of that, Mitch?
That is what I live for. So let's get this out of the way.
Being the great guy that you are.
No, let's, yeah, great. Hold on 1 second here. There it is. So this is a continuation of our meeting back in November or December, November, actually. So back in November, we went through a number of these projects and several of them, there were some tweaks and adds and what have you that we were asking for to kind of solidify the scores. Those scores were solidified and justified. And there were actually one outstanding project that we were going to revisit because it was incomplete. And then another project kind of sprung up as well from the same sponsor, which is Michigan City, based on some additional monies that were available in the program, and that we wanted to at least get them so-called get their foot in the door. It also needs to be said, and people, if they don't understand this already, these are 2 different pots of money. You have the Lake and Porter County, which is Group 1. Group 2 money is LaPorte County that we're working off of. So that is why they are separated on this screen. There is one project that came in for complete streets, and that is in Cedar Lake, the Lakeshore Drive Corridor Sidewalk Project. So the idea today, we're going to go through briefly the two projects in Michigan City to confirm the score with the sponsor. And then after that, if there's no other questions, we will vote. We will have a vote on the approval of this moving up the food chain. Now, the way the food chain works is that we're looking to bring this before the Technical Planning Committee, not next week, but in February. There are some other groups and some other funding pools that are needed to be reconciled. And then at that time, we will be debating on where the funds go. And I think NOFA will also have their shot at it as well, either before or after TPC, but possibly before. That's a Charles question. I don't think Charles on the line. I don't think he was able to make it with us, but Charles Bradsky is going to be taking these scores as well as scores from the other programs and all of these projects and doing his best to make it work based on priorities that the community have set aside and the money that is available, of course. So again, as you can see from this list, we have a very healthy amount of projects that have come forward. But I would ask kindly that we address the Michigan City projects. And then afterwards, if there's any outstanding questions, we can entertain it then. So what I'm trying to do here is get to the first one. I know I see Shannon Eason on the line from Michigan City, and we can go through, what I'm going to do is just kind of go through this and basically just talk about areas that I had some conflict with, which weren't much. As you can see from your screen, the self, and we went through this exercise a couple months ago, jogging your memory, and hopefully you can wipe away all the cobwebs and eggnog to figure it out. But as you can see, we are pretty consistent all the way through. I think the only point that we took one off of this particular phase, phase 3, is that I determined based on the map that it was not 61%, but it was less than 50% for environmental justice of this particular phase. The phase being from Liberty Trail Road to US 12 at Carwick. So do you have any comments on that, Shannon?
No.
Okay, so at this time, the final score that NERC is coming up with is 76. And does that work well with the percent 76? Don't worry about that. I come up with 76. Is there any questions from the sponsor on that score? Okay.
No.
I'm hearing none. I will make it 76 on the score sheet here. That has been finalized. Now the next one to debate or dialogue over is your phase 3D. Now, to my knowledge, phase 3D is a stretch of the Singing Sands / Marquette Greenway that starts at that Carwick Road in US 12 and goes all the way to the jurisdiction limits at Muir Road. We have the same score that my review comes up with the same score, so there should be no debate there unless you have any additional questions, Shannon.
I don't, thanks.
Okay, very good. With that said, the sheet before you comes up with this. So as it stands, the multi-use trail submissions in LaPorte County, the first one being Singing Sands, phase 3A and C, and then number 2, Singing Sands, phase 3, segment D. Finally, LaPorte County Lincoln Trail extension to Purdue Northwest. So what you're seeing here will be the scores that are going to be forwarded to the TPC in February and probably beforehand, depending on when the TROC group convenes. Are there any outstanding questions on this before we go to a vote?
We need a
Okay.
motion to recommend.
So what I'm going to ask right now, Mr. Chairman, is that you ask for a motion in a second, and then I will do the roll call. And I'll explain the rules of the roll call at that time.
Okay, entertain a motion to recommend these numbers as stated.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
The motion was made by Sarah Coulter, Calumet Collaborative.
Yes.
Second by Dean Button.
Second by Dean Button, City of Hammond.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion further on this matter? Hearing none, then we'll take a roll call vote.
All right. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Sarah and Dean. What we're going to do now is go through this procedurally. The way it works is the formality is if you are a representative of a stakeholder, you have a vote. If there are several people that are on the line from a particular entity, one person is supposed to vote, not all of them. That's how we make this work. So it's pretty much cut and dry, but because we are dealing with a very important project like this, we want to make sure we have a solid vote. So I think you're ready to go, Floor, on your end. And if that's said, I will read these out. George Topol.
I don't know if do I count? I'm from Porter County, but I'm not.
No, you're a commissioner.
Township.
You are a commissioner. You certainly count.
All right, then I'll vote yes.
Shannon Eason.
Yes.
Thank you. Don Parker.
Yes.
Donna Catalano.
Yes.
Beth Schrader.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
Thank you. Craig Zanstra.
Yes.
Okay. Terry Saltzman.
Yes.
Okay. Dahlia Zygas.
I'm also from Michigan City, so I don't know if I should vote because Shannon already voted.
That is true. That is a good call. Thank you, Dahlia. You're doing my job better than I am. Thank you. Let's go down to I think we have Katie Vallis.
I think I should abstain from this vote.
That is fine. That is your
Thank
call.
you.
Kelly Goodpaster or Pastor.
Thank you for correcting that.
Thank you. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you, Kelly. Mark Schreiber. Mark Schreiber.
Yes.
Thank you. Rick Eberly.
Yes.
Thank you, Rick. Sarah Coulter.
Yes.
All right. Zuli Alvarado.
Yes.
Thank you, Zuli. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm not duplicating people here because we have several. Who is on from the city of East Chicago? Esperanza. I don't know the first name. I'm not hearing anything back from the person, so I'm going to move on. Is there anybody that I have not called who may be a representative? Going once.
Mitch, real quick, in the chat, there was something about abstaining from the vote.
And who is that?
City of East Chicago.
Ceja.
Oh, they did? Okay, very good. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Okay, that I think wraps it up. Floor, what's your count?
14.
14 yeas. Mr. Chairman, you have 14 yeas and 0 nays.
Okay, there being 14 votes in the favor and there were 0 in opposition, the motion carries.
And I just want to say before moving on, I want to thank all the members of the Pedal and Paddle Committee for working together to bring this program to fruition. These are very popular projects in the region, and it's always good to see healthy competition. So,
Mr. Chairman, if I might, I would just recognize Mitch for all of the very hard work he did of pulling all these all together and making this whole submittal process very transparent. Well done, Mitch. Thank you for what you do for us.
Thank you, Dean. I appreciate that, and I will make sure your edible arrangement will be forthcoming. Let's make sure.
I concur with the comments.
Thank you, George.
All right, then, moving on to 4.0, 4.1, map and mobile app update. Mitch, take it away.
Thank you, George. And I'll wrap up 4.1 and 4.2 in the same report, if you don't mind. So what happened, first of all, I'll get to 4.2 in a minute, dealing with some new things on the horizon. Just as an update, the 2020 map, which is going to be right in time for 2021, is scheduled to be submitted for printing early next week. I have floated this to pretty much all of you and other stakeholders in the region on at least 2 or 3 occasions. I received numerous comments of editing and updating, and we are going to finally get that on the streets and should be printed by month's end, and then we'll be able to get those copies to you. It's a very popular document, and we want to make sure that's in your hands sooner than later. Now, the exciting part of it is that there is a mobile app that is coming on board, and I'm excited to say, if you haven't heard yet, that we're partnering with Sarah Coulter and the Calumet Collaborative. They have been generous enough to provide funds to expand the reach of the mobile app to actually cover the entire Calumet region, east of Joliet, all the way to and through LaPorte County. We are now debating, instead of Northwest Indiana's Greenways and Blueways, it most likely will be called the Calumet Greenways and Blueways mobile app. And it'll also include some extensions into the downtown Chicago area. We have contracted with My City Bikes. They have done this work on a national scale, and we're looking to get this out, and we have many stakeholders we're going to share it with. I've been talking with many of you and other stakeholders as well. Right now, Illinois is kind of getting their act together in the sense of routes that they want to make sure is highlighted. And so what we're working on is a map of, again, basically taking our paper map and digitizing it and making it a mobile product. Now, on top of that, there are some other features that we're working on. This is probably the first time you've heard it from me, but there are other packages that My City Bikes provides, and it provides it kind of on a separate basis. And what I speak of are locating businesses. And we've had this discussion with specifically the Legacy Foundation of Lake County, but there's also the option for all of you as stakeholders to purchase an additional package on top of what we're doing that would place businesses and identify businesses on that mobile app for when people are on that gadget. And I know Legacy would like to highlight all of the local businesses within Lake County, but as an example, Michigan City or Valparaiso can buy a subscription to My City Bikes, and they can place businesses on the map as well. Now, how that's going to happen, I'm still working that out. Subscription prices vary, depends on what that'll be. And of course, it's our map, it's our base map. And I say our, that's NERC and Cal Collaborative's base map. So we want to make sure that what you guys locate on there is going to work out for our general purposes. We don't want Walmart on there if we don't have to, places that, local businesses that we want to highlight and make sure people are aware of. So that's one level. And then there's another level on top of that that actually highlights bicycle tours. And I know Porter County, I think through Indiana Dunes Tourism, has already contracted with My City Bikes on such a program. And we will possibly have that ability to do that here. Probably through tourism bureaus, and again, through any entity that would want to pay for that. Now, again, we have to figure out, you pay us or you pay them. So I'm just giving you a very 50,000 foot view of it all. So I don't know the details yet. I will certainly be rolling those out soon, but right now my big concern is making sure the map itself is going to be ready for release and launch sometime in March or April. And that's what we're going to do at this point. So that's an exciting development. And then 4.2, I spoke to many of you about trail counters, about kind of upping our game regarding trail counters. And we're going to be working on that as early as tomorrow at the staff level, finding out what money we have. We might not have all the money to do all the counters that were requested. Just so all of you know, we have trail counters in the region, but they're very rudimentary. In fact, I could call that prehistoric. I mean, it's an infrared beam out of a box that catches everything. It'll catch you, it'll catch Bambi, it'll catch a leaf, it'll catch anything. And the ones that we're looking to bring on are going to be more focused on actual, and they'll be heat censored. So again, you know, you're not, a leaf or a piece of garbage gets in the way, that won't be counted. It will probably even be able to count the direction of the movement of the traffic on the trail. So they're going to be a lot more advanced. We can actually pull the data up through GPS if possible and Bluetooth technology. And so we have as many as 96 counters that have been requested throughout the 3-county region and 5 fixed counters. So they're 96 are mobile. You can put them wherever you want. They're the size of a toaster or a lunchbox I've been describing. And then the fixed one is exactly that. They're just fixed. They actually have the sensors that are embedded in the asphalt. That's high tech in the sense that can delineate between bicycle and pedestrian traffic, the movement of the traffic. So those 5 are going to be placed in high traffic locations where we know we get a lot of people, and that'll be great data going forward. But we're hoping we can roll that out with procurement and talking with the entities about their local match obligations within the next month or two. It's going to be a bit of a complex process because we have at least over 24 entities, and we're not only talking about public entities, but even private entities like Shirley Hines has decided to chirp in, and they want several counters for their forest preserves and or their nature preserves. So that was, you know, a great boon as well. And then the data bike. You see this thing called data bike. I may have shown off the data bike at a previous meeting, but it is exactly what it states. It's going to be a bicycle that's going to be outfitted with software to measure and gauge the condition of trails throughout the region. Kevin, who is our trail counter person, will be tasked with the burden of riding a bicycle up and down our trails and gauging the actual condition of those trails. This type of technology exists on roadways, and they get classified, and of course communities build that into their capital improvement plans and when they have to repave or reconstruct. And the same needs to be done for our trails. We have over 180 miles of regional trails now in Northwest Indiana, and many of those trails are due for a repaving, and we just need to keep an eye on that. So the data bike will be something that will be able to provide an additional value to communities. We don't have to keep that just to regional trails. We can, again, if community X says, hey, we have a park trail, can you go out there, and say, sure, we'll go out there. I mean, we'll go ride our bike around and provide you that data. And we're hoping to get that all assembled and put together and out into the community sometime in the summer at this point, hopefully late spring. But we have to go again through the lovely procurement process. And because you can't buy a data bike at Walmart, okay, it's one of these things you have to create. So we have to go through the process of doing that as well. So Kevin and I are going to be fiddling around in the NERC garage with the tools and stuff and the duct tape and stuff to make that happen. But looking forward to rolling that out later this year as well. So that's my report from pedestrian.
Thank you, Mitch Barloga. Appreciate that. Well done.
Let me ask if there's any questions on any of that from stakeholders. I know I kind of dump trucked a lot of information, but okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Next item on the agenda is a report from Northwest Indiana Paddling Association. Would that be Zulia Alvarado?
We're gonna actually, South Shore Trails is next before Paddling Association.
Oh,
so-
okay. Let me correct that. 5.1, report from the South Shore Trails. Excuse me.
Hello, this is Don Parker. For South Shore Trails, we started last year beginning a process of revisioning for who we were, what we wanted to be, and what constituencies we wanted to best serve in the Northwest Indiana region. Since over the last 15 years we've been working in these subjects, a lot of what we started out originally advocating for has come to fruition. And again, like most organizations, COVID hit and we spent a certain period of time waiting to see what would happen, and a certain period of time trying to figure out how we could adapt to the new normal. So we start this year essentially in the same place that we started last year, which is we're still in that process of trying to figure out exactly how best to serve the Northwest Indiana communities. And that process is going to continue into the spring as we try to anticipate how we can best serve the communities in the region as they start to come out of hibernation from COVID. And so the items in item 4 on the agenda are of huge interest to us, obviously, and we'll be looking for ways that we can help Mitch and NERC in the distribution of the maps, the publicizing of the app, the help that we can give. We did some help with trail counters in one of their previous incarnations, and we don't offer any different services than Mitch. Obviously has at his fingertips all of the national and regional resources on this, but we have a pool of expertise. We've been recently helping out some with the process of bridges over ditches as it's going forward in the Griffith, Munster, Highland area. And so we expect to be doing more of that. We have members or people in the interest followings that know the issues in a lot of these communities. So as I say from time to time, please feel free to call on us. We might be able to help out in terms of some of the work that you might be doing in your communities. And again, we'll be coordinating with Mitch over this spring as we get to the point where we're rolling out the map and the app and related projects like that as well. That's my report.
I think you're on mute, George. I think you're on mute, George. There you go.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much for that report. And now a report from Northwest Indiana Paddling Association.
I think Suli can help us with that.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Yes,
Julie.
2020 did not allow us to, or me in particular, to get out and check things out. So I am no longer with NIPA.
Okay.
All the things that happened. So I think we'll have a conversation with Dan again and to see who can report on things that are happening with NIPA and throughout Northwest Indiana regarding water trails and so forth.
I will say that water trails are still there, so.
Some of us are not fortunate to get out and paddling, all that other stuff, and check it and continue to do some of the work that I've been involved with.
All right. Thank you, Suli. Oh, you're on mute again, George.
Trying to make extraneous noise back here.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you for reminding me. Thank you very much, Zuli and Mitch, and anyone else. If you have any other comments or any comments for the group, please let us know now.
I will say that it says the next 3PC meeting is March 4th. I don't know if it's going to be March or April. It's a quarterly meeting, so I have to figure that out at this point, but it's either March or April. So.
Okay, well, we'll definitely be there either March or April.
Thank you.
And if there is no further comment, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, George, and thank you, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
God
New
bless.
Year.